Well, welcome to the final episode of Are You a Caleb Leader podcast. And over the past several days, we've walked through the life of Caleb, a leader marked by a different spirit. We've seen his faith when others feared, his courage to stand alone, his vision over obstacles, his endurance through delay, and his strength even in the latter years, and his willingness to take action and conquer the mountain. But today we come to the final and perhaps the most important theme: leadership leaves a legacy. Our key scripture is Joshua 14:14, where it says, "So Hebron has belonged to Caleb of Jephunneh the Zeranite ever since, because he followed the Lord, the God of Israel, wholeheartedly." You see, Caleb's leadership did not end with a moment, it resulted in a legacy. And after decades of faithfulness, Caleb received his inheritance, Hebron. And this wasn't just land, it was the fulfillment of a promise spoken 45 years earlier. But what makes this moment so powerful is what Scripture says next, that Hebron remained Caleb's inheritance. It wasn't just for a moment or a season, but as an enduring possession. Caleb's faithfulness didn't just impact his life, it established something that would continue beyond him. And that is what legacy is. Legacy is what remains after the moment has passed. It is what continues after the leader is gone. So Caleb's obedience, courage, and faith created this lasting impact. Because he followed God wholeheartedly, his influence extended into the future. And one of the most powerful truths about leadership is this: leadership is never just about the present, it always affects the future. So every decision a leader makes creates these ripples that extend beyond their immediate movement. Caleb may not have fully seen all the generations that would be impacted by his faithfulness, but his obedience positioned others to benefit from what he secured. And this is the power of generational leadership. When leaders choose faith over fear, it doesn't just affect them. You see, it affects their families, their communities, and their spiritual legacy. Too often, leadership is viewed in the terms of short-term results. But Caleb reminds us to think long-term, to consider not just what we've accomplished, but what we leave behind. Because the true measure of leadership is not just what we achieve in our lifetime, it is what continues because of our faithfulness. Thousands of years later, we are still talking about Caleb. And why is that? Well, it's because his life tells a story that continues to inspire. It's a story of courage when it would have been easier to be silent. And it's a story of faith when others chose fear. And it's a story of endurance when the journey was long. And it was also a story of action when others hesitated. Caleb's legacy is not just the land he received, it's the example that he set. And that example still speaks today. It challenges leaders to rise above fear. It encourages perseverance through delay. And it reminds us that a life lived in faith leaves a mark that time cannot erase. Every leader leaves a story behind, and every person does as well. And the question is, what kind of story will it be? And here is today's leadership lesson. Caleb leaders leave a legacy of courage and faith. They don't just live for this moment, they live for eternity in mind. And they make decisions that honor God, and they lead in a way that inspires others. They remain faithful, knowing that their obedience today can impact generations tomorrow. And a Caleb leader understands that legacy is not accidental. It is built through consistent faithfulness over time. As we close this final podcast, take a moment to reflect. What legacy will your leadership leave? And what will people remember about your leadership? And will it be marked by fear or by faith? By compromise or by conviction? By hesitation or by courage? Caleb's life reminds us that leadership is not about position, it's about spirit. It's about how we respond to challenges, and it's about how we trust God through every season. And it's also about what we leave behind when our journey is complete. So as we conclude this series, remember, a Caleb leader is not defined by position, but by spirit. A spirit of faith, courage, endurance, and unwavering commitment to God's promise. I just want to thank you for joining me for this 7-day journey. And as you move forward, continue to ask yourself, are you becoming a Caleb leader? And as we finish off this week, I just want to say thank you to Lynn again for the 2 days that she filled in for me as we were explaining this courageous leader. And may we learn the things that we've learnt this week and carry them forward in our daily lives.